Okay, y'all. Hello. We are recording. Today we're gonna get into the September astrology, and I'm so excited. I just did a really deep dive on everything going on this month. Well, a lot of what's going on this month, and I'm excited to share. So there are a couple things that I want to note before we really get into September. Just kind of the themes of the year, and you can always go back and check out the July and August readings, as those really gave a very clear picture of the first half of the year, especially the July reading. That was like my first astrology video here, so I really wanted to kind of give a good overview of the first half of the year, the present, and into the second half of the year, as we were kind of in that middle point in July. But if you don't want to go back and check those out, I'm going to give a very brief summary of kind of the themes that we were working with in the first half of the year. So, let's get into it. The first half of the year, we've had in general a lot of energy in the signs of Pisces and Virgo this year. So that's super powerful. And beyond that, we've also had just in general a lot of movement in the sign of Pisces, kind of moving back and forth between Pisces and Aries. So in general, the first half of the year, we're also in a 9-year. 2025 is a 9-year. So, and it's also this year of the snake. And the first half of the year was this experience of this like deep inner shedding period where we were really faced with a lot of wounds, trauma, things that were really blocking us from really blossoming into our authentic selves. So now we all have free will and choice, and we all have free will in how much we want to work with the energy of astrology, or just even if you're not like, of course you're watching this video so you know what I'm talking about, but even for people who aren't super into astrology, how much are they truly working with their experiences in this lifetime, and trying to learn and grow from them. So I feel like that in general, the I don't want to say the effort you put in the first half of the year, but yeah, the effort you have put in the first half of the year, and how willing were you to listen to your intuition and follow that guidance, I think is really going to have an impact as we move into the second half of the year into 2026. So what else do I want to say? We have had Saturn and Neptune kind of moving back and forth between Aries and Pisces. So a lot of themes around really releasing old karma, generational patterns, trauma, wounds, past life relationships, like really facing these experiences and even these internal experiences, as well as we're like dealing with this karma and releasing these old ways of showing up in the world, these old ways of internally existing. We are also at the same time being encouraged to it's like this deep shedding while we are also building internal power and learning how to really be our authentic selves in the external world. So yeah, lots going on. What else do I want to say about that? I kind of already said it, but like I said, like, and you can always start now. There's no better day than today, but really the your ability to lead with love and to walk with loving boundaries for yourself and others and compassion, and to learn from your mistakes and to move forward and to really just lead by example. I think in listening to your inner guidance, and more than anything, listening to that inner guidance and following it, even when you can't see the path clearly, I think that ability to do that is going to be really impactful in the second half of the year. The reason being is having the North Node in Pisces while also having Saturn and Neptune like bouncing back and forth between Aries and Pisces, but we also have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces right now. I believe they're both in Pisces at this point. Yeah. Well, by the time you're watching this video, they will be. But my point is, Saturn is this planet of discipline. They are the teacher. They are the teacher that isn't going to necessarily watch over your shoulder and make sure you're doing the work. It's the teacher that is going to leave, tell you to do your work, it's going to leave, and when they come back, they're going to see how much you've gotten done. And that, I think, will also determine kind of what opportunities arise and open up for you. And basically what opportunities are going to open up for you. Because we have Saturn in retrograde in Pisces, and we also have that North Node. So are you taking the steps towards your highest self and whatever your unique mission and purpose is in this lifetime? Like, have you been doing the work to cultivate yourself? And if you have, I get this sense that when Saturn finally does go direct in Pisces, and that happens in November. We'll get into all that, but quickly I just want to say that when that planet finally does go direct, I think there will be a lot of opportunities presented to you. Saturn often, when you do the work, leaves gifts upon its return out of retrograde, or as it's leaving your sign, or things like that. But Saturn's also not a planet that's going to hand you gifts. There are going to be opportunities presented to you, and it's up to you to kind of step into the energy, which is really anything in life. Again, we all have free will and the freedom to make our own choices to an extent. But with that free will, I do want to note that sometimes if we stay in situations too long that aren't serving us, and we have a greater path to move towards, the universe will at times create tower moments, or in some way, shape, or form move us forward, whether that's relationships ending, or leaving career, or getting fired, or anything along those lines. Yeah. Is there anything else I want to say about the first half of the year? I think I already said it, but if I didn't, I guess, just really the first half of the year being this clearing of everything that we're not, as we're also at the same time building a deeper sense of self and internal power, and a deeper connection with our center, our inner world. And now this second half of the year, it's like kind of moving deeper into the light and really stepping out into the world in a new way, in a way that's more authentic to our souls and our true essence. So, let's get into September now. I feel I get the spiritual insight. Is that what I want to say? I'm getting the intuition. What? Is that what I want to say? Yeah, yeah. Anyways, I'm getting just this download about September, and just naturally what it represents in this month is the harvest. And it's really funny because I wasn't even thinking about that really. But August for me personally, and I'm only sharing this from my personal experience, just in case it resonates with others, but August represented this bloom to me, and I journal a lot. So when I buy my journals, I like to buy journals that kind of represent where I'm at during this time period. And August was a journal with all these felt flowers all over it, because it really just felt like a deeper sense of bloom within my own internal self. And September, I ended up buying, well, I guess the second half of August and September into September. Mostly it'll be September. I got this fruit journal, and I felt to me, it's this harvest of the fruits, the harvest of the work that we have done so far in this part of the year. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that in case that meant anything to anyone. But yeah, so long story short, we're in a month of harvest and really starting to see, I think, some results from the efforts that we've made. But I think it's going to be we're still working out a lot of kinks with the astrology we have going on. And I think being in a 9-year, we're going to be continually shedding and releasing until the final day. But at the same time, again, really creating that internal power and healing. And it's a journey, man, and you just have to go with the journey and enjoy it as much as you can, and be grateful for the highs and be grateful for the wisdom that we can take away from the lows. And yeah, I guess I also, before we get too deep into the astrology for September, I've just been in a space of really having a very tender heart and feeling very emotional and feeling very much we must be so gentle with each other and loving with one another. Being alive is not the easiest thing to do. It's really intense. I mean, yeah, nothing is permanent. Everything is always changing, and we're all gonna die one day. Not to be like that, but it's a really sacred, and it's a miracle that we're even here, and it's a very sacred experience, but it's also a very intense and difficult at times to be alive, especially I feel like the world always has complexities and confrontation and dark and light, but it is definitely an intense time to be alive in general. And I just wanted to share a lot of love and light to anyone going through a tough time right now. And just a reminder to be gentle with yourself and other people. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do another little ancestor message or twin flame reading to tap into just the collective and what we all need to kind of hear right now, what our hearts need. Maybe I'll start doing readings like that. I wonder if people would like that. If you're listening and you'd like that, let me know. And what I meant by that, because I didn't even fully finish the sentence, is just a reading about, like, what does the collective need to know right now? What does the collective's heart need to hear right now? Maybe just some sweet messages coming out there. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into the September astrology. September 1st, we have Saturn retrograde entering Pisces. So Saturn has been retrograde since July, and it's been in the sign of Aries up until this point. And we also have Neptune retrograde in Aries right now, and it will eventually be moving into Pisces, I think on October 22nd. Yes. Yeah. So give me 1 second. North Node in Pisces. Neptune retrograde moves to Aries. Okay. Yes, okay. So right now we will have Saturn retrograde in Pisces until November 27th. So, what does that mean? Like I said, we have that North Node in Pisces and Saturn retrograde. I kind of already explained it. I feel like it's this energy of Pisces is the sign of the unknown, what is truth, but what is unseen. It is the sign that contains all of the zodiac signs. It has a lot to do with collective suffering, as well as like the depths and also the light. It is like the dark and the light, but it's also I see it as the in-between as well. It is this sign that is deeply connected to the divine, yet we are living and embodying that energy within a planet, within the earth. So it is really being able to, think about an ocean. It is this vast body of water that is full of life, even in the places that humans have yet to reach. And it is also like there are parts of the ocean that you can see, you can interact with, and then there's parts of the ocean that are very unknown and that go very deep. And there is light and dark within all of that, with anything, but especially with Pisces, especially with the emotional body as well. So all that to say is, having that North Node in Pisces, it's like this opportunity that is endless, and it's kind of up to us to create and dream a bigger dream than what we can see right now in our physical realm. But having Saturn also in Pisces in retrograde is like giving us that discipline and that structure to take action. Well, I don't want to use the word action yet because we're in retrograde, but it's like taking that internal action to really clear away what's not serving us, especially with that South Node in Virgo. Virgo being the healer, a sign that represents our health, our well-being, practicality, the details, organization. So having that duality of Virgo and Pisces, these opposite signs with the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces, that in general is, again, this deep, like, ability to dream a bigger dream than what is in the present. And in Virgo, the South Node is helping us to release anything that is not serving us and is not allowing us to create this big dream. Virgo being an earth sign as well, during this, right now we are just stepping into Virgo season. During this harvest season too, it's like Virgo has this ability to make things more tangible by taking practical, logical steps, where Pisces has this ability to dream a big dream and just this endless ability to see a vision bigger than, again, what is in the physical. But Virgo kind of giving it that structure. So having Saturn kind of put into the mix of all of that, it's like we have Virgo helping us release all this old baggage, helping us fuel these new dreams, and Saturn kind of giving us that internal discipline to really help Pisces make this dream into a reality. And by Pisces, I mean collectively speaking, like to help us all move towards our true authenticity, and our true divinity even. So yeah, that's a lot. I'm gonna let us take that in for a second. Yeah. So to add to that, we have the Neptune retrograde happening, which I know I just paused on this for a moment. So right now, well, on September 14th, I'm gonna go back and talk about, everything happening in between this Saturn retrograde and this Neptune retrograde, but since they're in the same signs, I kind of want to talk about them all together. So yeah, that Neptune retrograde in Pisces, we have it in Aries starting on September 14th, and it's at 0 degrees Aries. So what that means to me, we're going to have that from September 14th to October 22nd. I think this is going to be a moment to really understand what is blocking us from really stepping into deeper initiation within ourselves. Aries is a fire sign. It is the first zodiac sign of the zodiac signs, and it is this fire, this initiation, this, especially at 0 degrees, like this burst of energy moving forward. But to have it in retrograde over 0 degrees in Aries, it's like forcing us to go within and really understand those blocks. And it's like Neptune and Saturn kind of talking with one another to really release any illusions, right? So Neptune, when it goes in retrograde, it tends to lose its strength. And when Neptune loses its strength, that means that a lot of illusions start to come down, and we start to see things more clearly within ourselves and within our relationships. And it's like all that stuff I was talking about from the first half of the year. It's like if we were, a lot of us could have been really deep in some karmic cycles, still working through some really tough trauma, or I was going to say karma, but trauma could be relevant as well. And now that we have that Neptune retrograde, it's like we're able to see more clearly those situations, like what was going on and, what we could have done better, or we're starting to understand why those things occurred. Maybe not why they occurred, you could, but at the very least, understanding how we could have shown up better, or how we want to show up moving forward. So, yeah, I feel like Saturn and Neptune are kind of both in Pisces talking to one another. Well, they will both be in Pisces. Yeah, they both will be in Pisces together eventually in October. And they're going to be talking with one another to really help us to create the discipline within ourselves, to do things like creating healthy boundaries with other people, learning how to relate to other people from a whole place. And I think having that that Neptune retrograde in Aries at 0 degrees before it moves into Pisces in October, where it will be communicating with Saturn and the North Node in Pisces, having that moment at 0 degrees Aries is like, this moment where we can really start to understand where we're giving our power away, and start to understand that on a very deep and visceral level from an internal standpoint, and help us to bring that power back within ourselves, and to understand how to hold that power, and to be able to still interact with these parts of our lives. So an example could be like, let's say you have a difficult family member and they really trigger parts of you, and you tend to allow them to walk all over you, or things along that nature. How can you shift your internal dialogue, or the way you communicate with this person, so that you can still interact with whomever? Obviously, as long as it's not an extreme situation where you shouldn't be interacting with a person. But how can you interact with people and still maintain your power and your peace without needing to cut people out of your life because of our own wounds and our own inability to protect ourselves? So yeah, I know I'm kind of all over the place today, but there's just like a lot going on, so try to stay with me, But yeah, so I think we're gonna have that moment, and I think having that moment with that Neptune retrograde in Aries, okay, that's really addressing that internal power. And while we have that Saturn retrograde in Pisces before Neptune joins in Pisces, I think having that aspect really will help us to find deeper, because Pisces is a sign that struggles with boundaries. They have this deep unconditional love within them, and once Pisces is able to create boundaries and protect themselves, they kind of become unstoppable, because they're no longer controlled by their environment. They're then able to protect themselves, their heart, their unconditional love, and still give that love without it depleting them. Okay? So when we're talking about that beyond just Pisces as an individual, when we're talking about that on a collective level, I feel Saturn working with Pisces is helping Pisces, helping us as a collective to really understand on a deeper level. Ooh, I'm getting emotional. Maybe it's because I am a Pisces, but I'm getting chills. I'm getting super emotional because it's a really powerful thing for us as a collective, and I guess for me personally as a Pisces. But yeah, having Saturn kind of guiding Pisces and helping Pisces to really create those loving boundaries and create that container and that resilience within themselves, no matter how much turmoil too. And now I'm getting images of the High Priestess energy. It's like Pisces is also a sign when we talk about the depths in the ocean. It's a sign that is capable of transmuting darkness into light and being able to take information from the unconscious and transmuting that energy, alchemizing that energy to be able to share it through wisdom. So transmuting and alchemizing wounds into wisdom and light. And yeah, so I feel like collectively we are really experiencing this. Especially also I want to note we have Pluto in Aquarius, which we've had for quite some time now. But that energy too is more of a generational planet. It's going to be in the sign for 20 years. But that is a new way of relating with others as well. That's coming from more of a detached place where we're able to kind of understand one another collectively in a deeper way rather than trying to attach and be codependent with one another. There's a lot more liberation and freedom involved with Pluto and Aquarius, and so I think that is also really helping just this process of learning how to navigate the world in a new way, in a way that is freedom, is liberating. Whether we are single or in a relationship, there is this new way of connecting with each other emerging where we are able to embody our individual selves and be liberated and free in that expression and connect with others in that place, meeting each other human to human, eye to eye. And I think, again, Saturn is really helping us to create that and to create these new loving boundaries, especially with the divine feminine energy within us. It's like the divine feminine, if we talk about the wounded feminine, there can be a lot of themes around codependency or overgiving, or what else? Attaching ourselves to things that are outside of ourselves. And I'm talking about the divine feminine energy within all of us. I feel like that is another, that our divine feminine energy is making a huge shift here, and in turn is helping the masculine heal, because we're no longer attaching our worthiness to anyone. to the masculine, or like speaking not about gender, but just like the energy within all of us. And that is allowing for the masculine energy within us to feel more capable, to feel like they are safe to heal, and to be able to then step up and take action in the world and support that feminine energy within our own souls to really flourish and to really be able to pour from a full cup and to really be able to embody love and to share that love freely rather than withholding love out of fear or lack or expectations not being met. So really a liberating experience to ultimately find wholeness within yourself. And this is kind of becoming more of a download intuitive message coming through, and of course it is, but that is kind of an accumulation of all of the messages that I am receiving from simply what is going on in the sky, but also from spirit, when it comes to the North Node in Pisces, the South Node in Virgo, the Neptune retrograde moving back and forth between Aries and Pisces, as well as Saturn moving back and forth between Aries and Pisces. And I didn't really mention it in this video, but again, if you check out August or July's video, I talked about this in a deeper way. But we do at some point, I don't remember off the top of my head, but we will have Chiron also going retrograde in Aries, and it will stay in Aries. And Chiron is looked at as the wounded healer. So it going retrograde pretty soon, I'm pretty sure, that is going to kind of highlight the wounds that still exist. And I'm also getting this imagery right now that it's like everything that we experience in the first half of the year, right? It's like now we've had, especially when it comes to relationships too, we had Juno go direct over the summer, and we moved out of this. We moved from Pisces into Aries for Neptune and Saturn, and now they're moving retrograde. So it's like, we have already integrated a lot from the first half of the year, and we've already begun to see these lessons start to unfold. And like I said earlier, we're starting to understand, how we could have shown up better, what we could have done better. And I don't think we're yet at this point of fully integrating all of these lessons from the first half of the year. But I think through Saturn dipping back into Pisces, Neptune dipping back into Pisces, Chiron going retrograde and staying in Aries, and I think that's really important to note. I believe that is going to be this opportunity to really, on a deeper level, understand all of the wounding, all of the triggers that came up in the first half of the year. I think it's going to be a deep moment for us to really integrate that on a visceral level and to really move forward. And like I said with the High Priestess energy, like that same concept of really understanding the shadow side of what we were experiencing and being able to really finalize all of that energy. Because Saturn and Neptune are both going to go over the anaretic degree of 29 degrees in Pisces, which is super crazy important to note too, because the 29th degree is a very karmic degree. It's very much like themes of closing out big cycles. So to have that being touched upon in the sign of Pisces, which is the last zodiac sign of the wheel, and it's also a sign that is looked at as a wrapping up of karma, endings, and really closing out this energy. So yeah, to have that happening in this second half of the year, like literally, so October 22nd to December 10th, we will have Neptune retrograde happening. It's moving from the 0 degree, which is in Aries, which is super important when it comes to, again, our internal experience. And then we're going to have it literally retrograding from October 22nd to December 10th on the 29th degree of Pisces. And then we have that Saturn retrograde in Pisces that that is on the 29th degree now. So that's wild. That is exactly what I was just saying of literally like, okay, let's go back to the number 9 year, the snake, the shedding. It's like everything that we need to shed. It's like giving us this final opportunity to really close this energy out, to really finalize and to make amends and to like lovingly say thank you to the lessons and to the old cycles and to potentially old relationships that are no longer serving us, really closing that energy out with so much love and gratitude for what it carried you through and what it meant to you during that time period, but knowing that it no longer is serving you, whether it's, again, relationships, lessons, career paths, whatever it is, whatever you were dealing with in the beginning of the year, essentially. But it feels really beautiful and sacred, like this moment to really honor what was and now lovingly move in to what is coming. And I think the only other thing I want to say about that is that Chiron staying in Aries but going retrograde, I feel like kind of is holding this light, okay, on holding the light for Saturn and Neptune and revealing the wounds, right, that still need to be healed or addressed or just integrated and processed on a deeper level. And eventually Chiron will go direct in Aries, and the signs, this Saturn and Neptune, will return to Aries and go direct. And I feel like Chiron is kind of just like holding this light on the wounds and waiting for Saturn and Neptune to return to Aries to really solidify that energy and to come back, right, to the 0 degree in Aries and really initiate us forward onto our new path in a really bright, new beginning, healing, beautiful energy. So very exciting stuff. Wow, I did not expect to talk for that long about all of those themes, but that's what came through and it felt really good and potent, so we're just gonna go with it. Okay, now we're gonna get into the rest of the month, which there's a lot going on, so let's just get into it. September 2nd, we have Mercury entering Virgo, which is mutable earth. This, I think, will give us a tone in our communication, not only like externally to us, but internally, of like this ability to be kind of more practical and logical in the way that we're communicating with others and with ourselves. excuse me, and really helping us to, I think, get clear mentally on, in our thoughts on where we're kind of at right now. That's really all I want to say about that. It's just going to give that like practical, nice tone. And I think we could really use that right now with so much energy in Pisces. I think it will just help us to get a little more grounded during all of this movement. What else? September 3rd is a pretty powerful day. I do want to spend some time talking about this. We have Jupiter in Cancer trining the North Node in Pisces. So, and it's at 22 degrees. So 22 is a master number in numerology. And to me, that is this energy of like balancing, but also like structure and groundedness. And it's almost like bringing the spiritual to the practical with the energy of the number 2. And, you know, if you add 2 and 2 together, it's 4. So it is looked upon as like this builder number in astrology, bridging the spiritual and the material. And then that is like a door opening, right? That 22 energy is like the divine door opening. And the fact that it's a trine in water, okay, that is creation, that is this, I just like, there's a lot of babies around me right now, and I'm just thinking of like the amniotic, is that what it's called? The fluid that they are created in. And it is this door to our ancestors, to our lineage, to our history, to our DNA, to creation itself, and also to the divine. So I feel like this moment in time, September 3rd, is this divine gateway opening up, especially Jupiter, the energy of Jupiter, and the North Node. Like, are you freaking kidding me? The North Node, again, being our mission and purpose here in life. And she's just like making little noises back there in her dreams. And Jupiter being this planet of luck and expansion. So, I mean, I feel like that says a lot in general of just having a trine between those two, the North Node and the planet Jupiter. It's like this opportunity for deep expansion, and you could literally have opportunities open up, whether that's in your emotional body, like more space being open up, or also, and this could be a combination of things, opportunities coming your way that will help you move towards your mission and purpose. So it would be a great day if you feel aligned with it. You know, I feel like I'm getting a ringing in my ear pretty loudly. If you feel aligned with it, and you know, all astrology is energy that you can choose to work with. So I always say, like, with any full moon, new moon, or any time, like, there's this, like, you should meditate on this day. Like, I think that should be a personal choice, and doing that if it feels nourishing to you. But that would be a powerful day to maybe sit in meditation or do some type of water ritual. Just be intentional with your thoughts as well, and doing something that is intentional around, you know, the direction you're going in life. So yeah, I also have written here the door to creation. I already talked about it being like this divine door opening. but super exciting. So that could also be a good day to explore some different art modalities as well. And maybe even do something intentional through art in regards to your path and direction in life. Or even taking a bath, doing an intentional bath. Yeah. Okay, anyways, let's keep going. So next we have September 6th, Uranus retrograde in Gemini. So it will be in Gemini in retrograde until November 7th, and then it moves into Taurus on November 7th until February 3rd of 2026. So this energy could look like, so Uranus is a planet of unexpected shifts, just basically unexpected energy and innovation. And Gemini is a planet of communication. It's an air-ruled sign, so a lot to do with our minds, thoughts, ideas, and innovation as well. I think I said that in regard to Uranus, but Gemini as well. And so what to expect from that? I feel like during that time we could really have unexpected internal shifts that come through your mind. So, or come through even communication with others, where, for example, you could be having a conversation with someone and it really shifts your perspective from an internal place on a deep level. Or you could just have like some really deep downloads coming through during this time. And I do want to note, in combination with that, we have on September 7th a full moon total lunar eclipse in Pisces. So that is really big energy. We are heading back into eclipse season. And so if you don't know this already, eclipses are very potent energy, and they say that they continue to affect us for 6 months afterward. So it's just a lot of energy going on here. To have that Uranus retrograde begin for the collective right before that, I keep yawning, right before that full moon total lunar eclipse in Pisces, I feel like we could, Pisces again, we already know this, and that's crazy that it makes sense, but it's just like so much energy in Pisces. It's like a lot, and that is a lot. I didn't mention this before, and it's important to mention that Pisces is also this divine surrender. Like, I did kind of talk about this, but like really needing to trust what is unseen and trust our internal guidance, especially with all this retrograde energy, specifically in Pisces, as retrogrades are always like more an internal shift. That's like when planets are in retrograde, it's really important to look at that internal processing happening there. But yeah, so I feel like the full moon in Pisces, this eclipse in Pisces on September 7th could really bring up a lot of hidden emotional layers that have yet to be revealed to us, or that still need to be purged. Which makes sense with all these other themes that we have going on in this year. Like, of course, right? It just adds to kind of everything I was talking about earlier and what we're going to see in the second half of the year. I feel like it's almost like initiating, we're already in it, but kind of initiating this deeper, yeah, that makes sense, because October, November, December, January, February, oh my gosh, March. Okay. So yeah, eclipses affect us for 6 months. after the fact. And I think that really is kind of initiating this like continuous deep sacred release and healing and integration of our emotions, and really being able to make amends with the past and then be able to really step into our futures in a bigger way. It's also interesting too that we have that full moon in Pisces, and we also have a new moon that I'll talk about in Virgo later in the month. And I love that because we have that south node in Virgo, but the north node in Pisces, which is like, south node is like releasing a lot of stuff, and Pisces and the north node is like moving towards our destiny and our fate. So it's interesting just to see that new moon with Virgo when they've been kind of dealing with all this past life junk coming up. I think that's really great for them. And then for Pisces to have that full moon, that deeper sense of release. I really like that concept and that energy there. Because it's like a mirror, right? And it's continuing to mirror each other, but I feel like it's kind of also balancing out all of this energy that we've been experiencing all year. And hopefully, giving Virgos a little bit of a spark and a break here. As well as the other mutable signs too. But I think for us mutable signs, we're going to be moving through a lot of deep shifts here. What else do I want to say? So yeah, that full moon in Pisces, I know I keep saying it, but it's just going to be this, like, I think especially with that Uranus energy influencing it, we're going to really maybe become aware of things that really need to shift within us to really step into ourselves, which also match the themes of all these retrogrades that we're having, and what is still blocking us from really stepping into our path in a deeper way, that like really stepping into our highest selves and our highest timeline. Deep emotional release. And again, I feel the need to say this one more time, if I didn't fully say it already, that Uranus retrograde in Gemini, in combination with that full moon in Pisces, unexpected internal shifts, which I like that it's in Gemini because it's kind of shifting on the mental level, right? But then also we have that full moon in Pisces, so it's shifting our emotional body as well. And I'm almost getting this vision of kind of our mind and our body being able to kind of come in alignment with each other. And that's something I've been personally experiencing just in the last couple days, of starting to really embody myself more and get out of my head as much. So I think that is something too to note here, is that I think there will be this like kind of mind, body, spirit balancing happening, which reminds me of the number 222. So you could also see a lot of 222 during that time as well. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done. September 13th, we have, I just want to mention this. I don't know a ton about Vesta, but I have begun to learn about her, and I don't know enough to really talk about it in the way that I would like to. So I just want to mention it and say that it is this kind of burst of sacred energy, this burst of an internal flame being relit within us. And Vesta is going to be entering Sagittarius at 0 degrees. So especially Vesta is like looked at as this internal sacred flame, basically. And having it move into 0 degrees of Sag is like this fire sign, of course, right? And fire is this initiation. And combining this Vesta energy with this Sagittarius fire energy, I feel like we're going to feel a burst of energy, essentially, from this that will kind of like relight our motivation and our passion to keep moving forward. Okay. So we already talked about September 14th. I know I already talked about it in the beginning, but I will just mention it now so you can kind of keep the timeline right in your mind, as I know I went all over the place earlier. But September 14th, we have that Neptune retrograde hitting 0 degrees in Aries. So it's already in Aries. I would assume it's probably at 1 degree or 2 degrees now. It's probably at 1 degree. Yeah. And just 0 is very symbolic to the energy of God or source and protection, and also just that, like, not no man's land, but this like in between energy. And also the beginning, right, of the zodiac of Aries, this initiation. So yeah, it's important and it's exciting. So yeah, that's when it's happening, September 14th. So let's keep going. September 18th, we have Mercury entering Libra. I don't have like a ton to say about, Mercury changing signs because it does it so often. But I think it's always important to note and be aware of, just so you can kind of keep in alignment with the shifts you're seeing within yourself and what's going on in the planets. But Mercury is our planet of communication. I guess I didn't say that earlier. I think it's important to say if we have people who don't really know a ton about the planets yet. But I guess if you're, whatever, I'm not going to go on a tangent. So Mercury entering Libra we're going to see maybe a shift in our communication, moving from kind of more practicality and more logic and kind of looking at the details and like really, just coming at our communication from a more practical lens to coming at communication with more of a, I want to say compassionate lens, more from a place of maintaining harmony and balance and keeping the peace. So you might notice, too, you could be like, so within your own dialogue and within your own mercurial energy within yourself, we could be seeing just like you could be weighing out all the pros and cons to things that you're dealing with in your current reality, and really trying to do things that are best for everyone involved, like when you're considering your movement forward. And when it comes to, excuse me, trying not to yawn. When it comes to how you're communicating with the people around you, if there's like arguments and stuff like that, you could find yourself, well, I think collectively we're all going to be kind of just in this energy of just like maintaining more peace and coming at our communication from a more balanced lens where we're, again, considering options and the pros and cons. Yeah, and it feels good to me. I feel like it will be really supportive just with everything else we have going on. Yeah. And then September 19th, we have Venus entering Virgo. What do I want to say about that? So basically, Venus is the planet of love and pleasure and career. And it entering Virgo, you could see this shift to coming at these like love and career and all of that from a more practical lens. How can we make this tangible? How can we take the right steps to bring this into reality? Now on the kind of lower vibrational scale of Virgo, there could be at times critical energy or over analyzing to a point that is not supportive or nourishing. And again, like being critical of others to a point that could be not super supportive. So just being mindful of that, but also like leaning into the higher vibration of Virgo and really just creating tangible shifts that are necessary. And, you know, taking that time while we have Venus in Virgo to make things that, to make the either relationships or new opportunities more tangible, and taking the proper steps to do so. So, powerful energy, people. September 21st, we have... I was gonna sneeze. Oh my goodness. Okay. September 21st, we have the new moon partial solar eclipse in Virgo. So, I have kind of a lot to say about this, but I'm gonna try to... Oh, it's not that late. Okay. I was getting worried that I've been talking for like an hour and a half, but not quite, so that's okay. Yeah, okay, perfect. Exactly what I wrote. So I like to take some notes so I can obviously lock in here. Okay. So the new moon in Virgo, I received some downloads about kind of the duality we're experiencing with this new moon in Virgo. Since we have Virgo in the South Node, I feel like not only Virgos, like people with a lot of Virgo in their chart, but collectively we're, again, releasing a lot of old energies here. And releasing a lot of energies that are stopping us from creating, again, what we want in this lifetime into like a tangible reality. Like what I was saying earlier about, you know, Pisces being the dreamer, Virgo being the healer, Pisces being a water sign and more like ethereal, more kind of that ocean of water, like endless sea of possibility, where Virgo is more obviously earthbound and able to kind of guide that energy into the physical realm. Virgo and Pisces being opposite signs, they really blend and work well together. And yeah. But anyways, so the new moon in Virgo, this is an opportunity to, I think it's an opportunity to not only plant new seeds and to set intentions for tangibility when it comes to to what we want in this life, but also I got this imagery of seeds that never bloomed or seeds that were rotted, and kind of being able to tend to those seeds and really uproot those seeds and plant new seeds. Not only just planting new seeds. I feel like with that South Node influence, we're kind of getting that opportunity to really uproot what is not growing. I think also to harvest what has grown as well. It's like I'm getting this imagery of like going through a garden and being like, oh my god, these bloom so beautifully, like let's harvest them. And then also I'm getting specifically images of like potatoes in the earth and like pulling them up, but then also having seeds that didn't do so well and pulling those roots out as well, and being able to plant new ones into those pockets there. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that Virgo new moon. It feels energetically really positive and really healing on a deep visceral level. So I really like that energy that I'm picking up there. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that we have the sun entering Libra on September 22nd. So that will be a really beautiful shift. I love, again, just like the date, the number 22, and Librian energy will be just another beautiful shift. And I can't wait to talk about Libra season. It's going to be, I think, a great internal balancing time. You know, kind of reaping the harvest of what we've already kind of created and continuing that healing journey as we're already growing and blossoming. So really looking forward to that, but also really looking forward to the rest of this Virgo season. Wow, that was a lot. That is all I have written for September. And it was so fun to do this. It felt really nourishing and really good to share. And if you guys have, anything you want to share about your experiences, what the first half of your year was like, or how this resonated for you, I would love to hear about it in the comments section below. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe. That will really help the channel grow and prosper. And yeah, I just want to get to know you all more. I want to hear about your experiences. I want to hear about how this resonated for you, like I said, and sending you guys so much love and light, and I hope to see you guys soon. Keep an eye out for your September zodiac sign readings too. I plan to start those in the next day or two, and I'm so excited for them. So yeah. Okay, love y'all. Have a good night.